now proceed with the roll call. So scrutineers, please get ready to give the voting cards to AFAB Austria, CPSA Croatia, CZPSA Czech Republic, FIPSA Finland, ANEP France, BPHD Germany, ASAP Switzerland, vote delegated to BPHD Germany, KNPSV the Netherlands, SOP Denmark, vote delegated to KNPSV the Netherlands, NOPSA Norway, SNAP Sweden, vote delegated to NOPSA Norway, BPSA Poland, APEF Portugal, FAST for Romania, NEPSR Serbia, SPSA Slovakia, the SHIFSA Slovenia, FEF Spain, TPAYC Turkey, and BPSA United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Please raise your voting cards high, and scrutineers, please count the votes and come to me individually. We have 19 full members present and voting. Thank you.
Now I open the standing orders. Do I have a proposer proposed by KNPSV Netherlands? Do I have a seconder seconded by FAST for Romania? Now we will move on to the next motion, which reads, this is the 15th European Regional Assembly accepts and adopts the annual report of Ms. Lieke van Meegen, IPSF Bureau Secretary 2025-2026. Now I give the floor to Ms. Lieke van Meegen for her speech.
I will hand over the parliamentarian system to Pavle, RPO. Thank you, Chair, for the floor. Lieke, IPSF Euro Secretary 2025-26. Can we have the scrutineers maybe reopen them? Thank you. Oh, yeah.
Technical. Now I give the floor to Ms. Lieke van Meegen.
Thank you, Chair, for the floor. Lieke, IPSF Euro Secretary 2025-26. Dear Regional Assembly, it is my pleasure to present my annual report as IPSF Euro Secretary to you. Looking back on the mandate, I am proud of what me and the Regional Working Group have accomplished together. As Secretary, my main focus has been ensuring that our documentation remains accurate, and throughout the mandate, I prepared and distributed agendas and minutes for the RWG meetings, CP meetings, face-to-face meetings, and I also completed the minutes of the 14th Regional Assembly. I also reviewed and updated various calls, guidelines, and the Euro documents folder. And in preparation for the 15th Regional Assembly, I worked closely with Osra to support the planning and the organization of the Regional Assembly. Furthermore, I had the opportunity to contribute to the official documents for Newbies Guide alongside the Constitutional Working Committee. And another important part of my portfolio is, of course, the policy work. So together with Osra and the Secretary Subcommittee, I worked on the policy package, the policy and advocacy toolkit, the policy session, and finally the regional resolutions, which we will discuss later this RA. I will now go briefly through my most important goals and KPIs. So my first goal is about IPSF documentation and internal management. Most of my KPIs are not at 100%, but 75%, because a lot of them are ongoing responsibilities. And since we have a quarter of the mandate left, I put them at 75%. So I already mentioned that I worked on the documents for newbies guides alongside the Constitutional Working Committee. And unfortunately, the guide hasn't been released yet. The design team is still working on it. So that's also not completely finished. Then the second goal is about supporting members of Euro, including the regional working group. So over the past months, I have worked closely together with Asra to support the team. I have introduced a standard agenda point called action points for our RWG meetings to help keep everyone track of important tasks and deadlines. And to foster closer connections with our community, I've completed the birthday initiative, where I've sent personal congratulations on behalf of the regional working group. And another KPI that I would like to mention is that I added detailed explanations of the agendas of CP meetings and also for the regional assembly, along with some recommendations on how to prepare to guide new CPs or new ODs in better and encourage better engagement. My third and final goal is about leading the subcommittee. I've had several meetings with them and also some one-on-one meetings, and I've tried to have them collaborate a bit more this year, so they work together on the policy and advocacy toolkit and also on the regional resolutions. And lastly, some important points that will be completed before the end of the mandate are finalizing minutes, also reviewing the minutes for this RA, updating the motions on force, also releasing the subcommittee call for 2026-27, and updating the Euro documents folder with all the documents that will hopefully be accepted at this RA. And as for the handover, I've already started updating my document, and I plan to have a meeting with my successor. And then for the future, I would recommend evaluating the two subco positions a bit, so the regional and policy assistant positions. And I would recommend that because sometimes throughout the mandate, the workload can differ a bit. So it would be better to ensure like an even workload throughout the mandate. This is also part of the Euro annex to the strategic plan, which we will discuss later. Then I would also recommend exploring AI tools within the portfolio because they could contribute to improving the efficiency and also reduce the workload where appropriate. Yeah, that kind of brings me to the end of my report. Of course, none of this would have been possible without the people around me. So I would like to start thanking my regional assistant and policy assistant for their dedication and support throughout the mandate. And I would also like to thank all the contact persons, student exchange officers, and all other subcommittee members that have really contributed to IPS Euro this mandate. And then finally, I will thank my regional working group. It has really been super nice to work with you all. It's really nice to work alongside passionate and inspiring people like you. And I really hope that we will get to do one last karaoke night, maybe, before we end our adventure. Thank you all for your attention, and I am happy to answer any questions that remain.
Now I
Hassan, Regional Media and Publications Officer. Just a suggestion. It might be worth if someone could put like a jacket or a bag to stop it from the windows from slamming. Would that be okay? Yeah. Something. Okay. Yeah, like something like that. Just so then they don't keep doing that.
Thank you, Mensch. Now I open the floor for discussion. New comment from TPIC Turkey. You can continue.
Okay, so to summarize or to start again, I would recommend allowing pre-recording the presentations of the position papers to increase engagement and to make the session more active. I thought about this, and I think maybe me and the team could read the position papers beforehand and like try and collect the most important like opinions from that, and maybe we could then like prepare some statements, and that it would be more like debate style. So we would present the statement, and then countries can like debate with each other and say, "Oh, we also agree on that," and maybe that would be possible. But I will certainly discuss with my successor as well. Thank you.
New comment from KPSV, the Netherlands.
Thank you, Lucinda, KPSV, the Netherlands. First of all, congratulations on your mandate. The question is a bit funny, but regarding adding the birthdays of the CPs to the Euro calendar, you said you shared the forms in November, but how are you? How do you recommend to keep this updated, because mandates are ending and beginning throughout the year? Thank you.
Lieke, IPSF Euro Secretary, thank you for the question/suggestion. I don't know why I actually didn't thought about this. I just like got it done at the beginning of the mandate. But maybe I can recommend my successor to like send the email maybe 2 or 3 times a year, and then like make sure that new people are also included. So thanks for the suggestion.
New comment from IPF Portugal.
Margarida, PF Portugal. Thank you for the floor. First of all, congratulations on your professionalism, prompt responses, and your sense of organization throughout this mandate. You really stood out, and it's been a pleasure working with you. We'd like to ask you, you mentioned that the official documents for newbies will be released after the design team is ready. Do you know if they have plans to release it before the World Congress? Because it would be really valuable to have it ready before the GA, since we couldn't have it before the RA. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieke, IPSF Euro Secretary. Yeah, thank you for the question. I don't have any updates or like a timeline, but I could ask again and like emphasize that it's really valuable to have it released before the GA. So I will do that. Thank you.
New comment from KPSV, the Netherlands.
Thank you, Marlon, KPC in the Netherlands. First of all, congratulations on your amazing mandate. It has been a pleasure working with you. So we were also wondering about the ODs for newbies. So what were the biggest takeaways that are addressed in the OD for newbies? Because of course we don't see what's in there yet, but maybe we could always already give like an oversight of what it entails. Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Lieke, IPSF Euro Secretary. So I mainly worked on optimizing the content for the domestic rules. So I focused on, well, let me start off by saying it's really difficult to find a good balance between like not straying too far away from the official documents and like keeping it easy and like light. So what I did was just summarize like all the articles and like per article explain in like just easy wording what it contains so that people like know how to navigate, because they don't need to read the whole like document. Like that's not really necessary, but for example for ODs or for CPs it's really nice if they can easily find where their duties are listed and like things like that. And as for the standing orders, I think they also try to summarize it and like pick the points that are most important for ODs during GA or RA. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
New comment from Nopsa, Norway.
Thank you. Johannes Nopson, Norway. In the considerations for the future, you write the role as regional and policy assistant should be developed and be more included in ongoing projects and initiatives. Are there any special projects and initiatives you have in mind or specific tasks that will suit this role well?
Thank you for the question, Lieke IPSF Euro Secretary. So they have worked together this year on the policy and advocacy toolkit. So the policy assistant worked on the content and the regional assistant did the proofreading. Same for the regional resolutions. But it's really hard to have them, like, for some reason, it's really hard to have them collaborate on something because like the regional assistant mainly proofreads. So yeah, I mean, she can still, or he can proofread anything like that the policy assistant works on. But yeah, for now, I don't have any other ideas on like specific projects they could work on. Thank you.
New comment from Campaign Sweden, Netherlands.
Thank you for your, Tarshka KMP Sweden Netherlands. Thank you for your work this mandate. I was wondering, what are your findings regarding sharing detailed explanations of the agenda points from the first, second, third CP meetings and the RA? Do you think ODs have given more inputs?
Thank you for your question, Lieke IPSF Euro Secretary. I think it's a bit hard to like measure if the engagement increased because I think it also differs per CP, like per mandate, how active they are, depending on how much time they have. As for now, I hope most of the ODs have like could use the explanations to better prepare themselves, especially new ODs. But maybe if anyone that's actually benefited from the descriptions can tell me, that would be nice. But yeah, thank you.
New comment from Napstar, Serbia.
Emilia Napser. First of all, thank you so much for your support. It was amazing. Regarding your, actually, you recommended exploring AI-assisted tools for the next secretaries. Based on your experience this year, what task benefit you the most from AI, and what safeguards would you recommend?
Thank you for your question, Lieke IPSF Euro Secretary. So one thing that was really nice was the transcription function from Teams. I think that's probably AI as well, because it allows me to focus on the meeting during the regional working group meeting instead of like having to type away live. As for the face-to-face meetings, I had to record with my phone, so then it cannot create like a transcription based on like speakers. But I tried a free version also of a transcriber that could distinguish between voices. So that way I could also transcribe, and it was much more productive than having to listen to 8 hours of recordings. And I think in general, the large language models are really nice for grammar checks. And stuff like that. Like it can really reduce the administrative work. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
New comment from KMPSV, the Netherlands.
Thank you. Lucinda, KMPSV, the Netherlands. Do you think using the contact person WhatsApp group as an extra medium to communicate with CPs about deadlines resulted in deadlines being met easier? And based on that, would you recommend to continue to do it, to use it?
Thank you, Lieke, KMPSV, the Netherlands. So, of course, we use the email as the main source of communication, and it's also important for the documentation. But I think it really helps, or I hope it helps for CPs to have summarized versions of the emails on WhatsApp and have the reminders there, because there's a lot of IPSF emails that will be in your inbox. I think what worked even better was reaching out to people personally, because sometimes maybe they didn't know that they didn't submit something yet, even though the general message was in the group chat. But when you send them a personal message, then they were like, oh wait, I still have to do that, okay. And then they also feel more like free to ask any questions they have. So I will definitely recommend my successor to keep using the WhatsApp group. Yeah, thank you.
New comment from APEF Portugal.
Margarida, PF Portugal. This comment is along the same lines of this last question that was just made. We have a recommendation for you that maybe you could leave in your handover if you find it useful. We have a standard practice within APEF when it comes to these kind of assemblies events, that instead of the reply to all method that we usually use to do bi-monthly and even monthly updates at the global level, we use an editable Excel where everybody can put their questions, and it could be way easier for monitoring and not overload our emails. And some actions have been taken during this mandate into this in general, into not overloading our emails. So I feel like this could be a great addition to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieke, IPSF Euro Secretary. I almost said KMPSV the Netherlands. Lieke, IPSF Euro Secretary. I think it's a good suggestion. I actually already wrote it down, so I won't forget. And I think it's smart because it will also reduce the emails. The only downside might be that people never check the Excel, so they miss the questions and answers because you have to actively search for it. But I will give it as a recommendation. Thank you.
I see no new comments. Therefore, I close the floor for discussion. So now we will proceed to the voting for the motion which is, this is the 15th European Regional Assembly, accepts and adopts the annual report of Ms. Lieke van Meegen, IPSF Euro Secretary 2025-2026. All those who are against, all those who abstain, with 0 votes against, with 0 votes abstain, and 19 votes in favor, motion carried unanimously.
Lieke, IPSF Euro Secretary, thank you so much to all of you for accepting the report, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the RA and also to the rest of the mandate. So thank you.
Now we will move on to the next motion, which is this is the 15th European Regional Assembly accepts and adopts the annual report of Mr. Hasan Siyet, IPSF Euromedia and Publications Officer 2025-2026. I give the floor to Mr. Hasan Siyet for his report speech.
Thank you to the chair for the floor. Hassan Said, Regional Media and Publications Officer, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to present my annual report. So just because it is quite long, I'll summarize the key points. So some of the main achievements was uh, po- posting all of our different campaigns and projects. Some of the key highlights includes the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Crohn's and Colitis Month, the different PE events such as PCE, CSE, ISE, as well as external collaborations where we did a vaccination week with EPSA, the mental health series podcast, which we filmed with a mental health pharmacist from the UK, and then also creating the merchandise for the Euros, the Euro IPSF Euro region, as well as the team weekend merchandise, and attending a few of the internal events as well. So moving on to my KPIs, I was quite critical of myself, given that it's only 3/4 of the way through the Monday. I tried to be not put everything at 100%, just because a lot of my work is ongoing and will continue throughout the coming months. It just makes it a bit easier to see where I am based on that projection. So starting off with increasing engagement and enhance the visibility of IPSF Euro. We've made a real effort this year to sort of have more reels, short form content, video content, interactive content with participation from CPs, participants of certain events, testimonies from the chair of LIT, TDC, and we've seen a real boost in our engagement. We've seen our view count go up on a lot of our different platforms. We have also seen a decline over some of our lesser used platforms, which we'll discuss later on in RA. As far as TikTok goes, we have started using it. I'm going to try and use it more this week and in the coming months. We posted the HWRC delegates as well as the team weekend recap on TikTok. And then when it comes to sort of, again, interactive things, we've tried to have a bit more like quizzes, reels, things like that, which are a little bit easier for people to watch when they're just scrolling on their phone. Moving on to the second goal, strengthening engagement with CPs and MOs throughout the social media and publications. So I had the pilot for the MO showcase, which was quite successful. We had 2 participating MOs, and it's something I'd like to continue once more in this Monday and pass on to my successor so that because it was a new initiative, I didn't want to put too much on you guys because you all already have a lot of projects. So I wanted to slowly phase it in, and hopefully in the next coming mandates we can increase how often it happens. Some of the feedbacks that we had in the CP meetings, that was something you guys wanted to see it more regularly, so then you could engage with it more. So that's something I would like to pass on to my successor. Moving on, I've tried my best to sort of post in the WhatsApp groups as well, so you guys are aware of exactly which sort of events we're working towards, and it gives you an option to have the editable Canva links, so then you can translate it to your own languages or post it on your own social media. And I've noticed a lot of engagement from MOs where they've reposted us because we get notifications, so we can see that it has sort of whenever MO reposts our post, then we see a spike in engagement from that country. So it has benefits to doing so. I've worked very closely with the RPO team and the RRO team in creating a lot of these initiatives and project designs, which has been really fruitful. Maintain and improve the IPSF Euro website. It's something that's a work in progress. Again, just given that we're not at the end of the mandate, there's a lot of things that we still need to work on and improve on. So we're hopeful that in the next coming months we can finalize everything, and when we hand over to the next subcommittee team, they'll have a good basis to work off of, and hopefully add new features to the website that we weren't able to implement this year. And I think that about covers my KPIs and my goals. I didn't have many travels or external representations, but I did manage to have a podcast with the BPSA. And then handover-wise, it's just some of the ideas that I had, as I mentioned, they're foundational ideas. They're not something I can just establish in one mandate. So I'd love for my successor to sort of take on that role of further developing them, and then hopefully in 2 to 3 mandates time from now, they can become traditions within IPSF Euro. And this year's been amazing. I've really enjoyed this role. It was something I kind of took on last minute, and I didn't know whether it was for me. But the support from the team, the support from you guys, the feedback, the engagement, my own subcommittee, I really couldn't have done it without them. It's been a very stressful year for me at times. I've been very busy and had a lot of personal things, but thanks to the support from RWG, from the chairperson, the secretary, Pablo, and the RPO, the RRO, and the chairperson Euros, it's been amazing, and it's been such a honor to be part of IPSF and sort of continue this journey. And even though it's a small mark, I've left my mark on IPSF, which I'm really, really proud of. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to present my report, and I open the floor to questions.
Now I open the floor for discussion. I have a point of order. Please do not put new comments before I say I open the floor for discussion, and please address the chair before you speak. New comment from KPSV, the Netherlands.
Thank you, Marlon, KMPC the Netherlands. First of all, thank you so much for the striking content you've made this year together with your team. So you mentioned difficulties with the quarterly Euro newsletter that we've also seen in previous mandates, because of course they were not submitted like in the timeline that you would have wanted, of course. What are the bigger challenges with the publication, and what would you recommend to future RMPOs and their teams to like tackle this? Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Hassan, Regional Media and Publications Officer. I think the main issue with the quarterly newsletter is sort of the timing of it. A lot of times it coincides with exam seasons, and the publications they're a big workload, and to have it on just one person, it kind of becomes a really big task, and you have to sort of set aside that person just for that one task, which then means all the other projects that we've had, and across the mandate we've tried to increase our like projects that we're doing, and we've had other initiatives going on. It makes it really difficult, so it kind of gets put on the back end a little bit, and then that pushes it further and further. Another thing is I a little bit of a bullshit point, but I hate two-factor authentication because it just kicks you out every single second. And because in handovers, so for example, the previous RMPO was from Turkey, it makes it really difficult to get the two-factor authentication transferred over. We did manage to do it. It's just sometimes it glitches and goes back to the old number for some reason. Thankfully, I've sorted it out. So hopefully for the next RMPO, it shouldn't be a problem. In regards to what can be done for future mandates, one of the motions that we are proposing is to expand the team for RMPO as well, to include someone that's solely dedicated to publications, because it's not just the quarterly newsletter. We have the policy toolkit, we have the partnership prospectus, we have team weekend guidelines, we have RA guidelines. So it becomes really a lot for one VCC to do. So the hope is by having someone to assist, it'll make the workload a lot easier and distribute the work a lot more. So hopefully that answers the question.
New comment from TPIC Turkey.
Thanks for the floor. Hatice from the TPYC Turkey. Thank you for efforts throughout the mandate and for the work done improve the platform structure and accessibility. Regarding this KPI, which was marked 50% achieved, the explanation mainly refers to reviewing content from previous mandate and simplifying the drop-down menus. Could you kindly clarify which tags or areas still remain to be updated or complicated, and what the main challenges were in fully achieving this KPI? Thank you so much.
So with regards to the website, it's a lot of back-end work. So sometimes it can take a little bit of time just to sort out the code, because when you change one thing, it can change many things, even though you don't want it to change many things. Given that we still have a couple of months left in the mandate, I wanted to leave it at 50% because once it's fully completed, then we can establish it as 100%. The website was something I envisioned as continuously updating rather than we update it once or twice in the mandate. So that's why it'll never really be 100% because we're always doing new initiatives and we're always doing new projects. With regards to the drop-down menu itself, it was just more to optimize it. So we just need to sort out a few of the selections because like when I was planning where things would go, I just sort of put them in somewhere that maybe isn't the best place for them to be. So I do have a few meetings scheduled after Euros where I'm going to discuss this with the website coordinator and we can hopefully optimize it even more. So it's just a bit more easier to use. So hopefully that answers the question. Thank you.
Direct comment from BPHD Germany. Dropped. New comment from IF Portugal. Dropped. New comment from ANEF France.
Chloé Nep France, thank you for the floor. Congratulations on your mandate. What would you need more to put a KPR of 100% on your use of LinkedIn, as right now it's 90%, because you said that you increased posting frequency and like it looked great. There's a KPI of 90%, and I feel like it could have been 100%. Do you want me to say it?
Yeah, could you clarify maybe under which goal?
It's on page 2. You utilize LinkedIn more actively to engage with professionals, alumni, and partners by sharing updates, event highlights, and achievements. The second point of goal 1.
So as mentioned, with regards to a lot of my KPI percentages, it's purely because of where we are in the mandate itself. Given that my work, we still have projects that we're going to be doing. I want to post a lot about Euros. I have the annual newsletter to write. There's a lot more opportunities for me to disseminate information. So I didn't want to put it at 100%. It is technically true that I've posted the things that are due. But I still feel like I've got more to do. So I didn't want to. I was very critical in my assessment this year, just because I wanted to be very objective and sort of show that. When I went into it, I had really high expectations of what I could do. So if I achieved everything, it'd be too much for the next RMPO. So I wanted to sort of make it a bit more realistic as well. That there are certain things that you may not be able to do just because of workload-wise or life, personal reasons. So that's why I didn't put it as 100%. But thank you for pointing that out.
New comment from Professor for Romania.
Andrea, fast from Romania. Thank you, Chair, for the floor. I want to ask, you mentioned about the what's new section that it is under the development. Was there any way to measure its reach or impact on member engagement, or it is something you would recommend implementing in future mandates? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Hassan, Region Media and Publications Officer. So with regards to the what's new section, it was more so for another opportunity for us to sort of showcase what we're currently doing. In my personal experience, talking to people who are not familiar with IPSF, sometimes it can get lost on what it is we actually do as an organization. So I thought it'd be a really easy way for someone who clicks on the website to sort of see what we're up to. With regards to analytics, it's not something I really discussed this year, purely because, again, it was something I wanted to trial and see if it would work. It's definitely something future RMPOs could consider. Perhaps I wouldn't mention it to my successor purely because I've got a lot of things I want to sort of pass on, and I don't want to overwhelm them with work. But I think my sort of intention going into this mandate was to lay the foundations so that in 3 to 4 mandates times, the social media would be drastically different, but drastically improved. And especially where we're in this transitional phase of shorter form content and sort of people don't really have the attention span to use longer form content. It's going to take a few years for us to catch up as an organization, just because none of us are like social media experts. We're like students. So it'll take a little bit longer. So yeah, maybe not next Monday, couple Mondays from now.
New comment from Nopsa, Norway.
Veronica, Nupsa, Norway, thank you so much for the floor. You mentioned that having Amos reposting Instagram stories increased the follower base. Do you have any other ideas for your successor to increase the followers? Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Hassan, Regional Media and Publications Officer. Follower count is like organic. It kind of goes up and down. Like I do have some statistics, and the thing is, because we see like very minuscule increases year to year, it looks like there's not been an increase, but then you'll have certain months where you might have 10 people that join, and then it's like a 200% increase. So it's a bit difficult with regards to like what you can do to increase follower engagement. It is purely dependent on like circumstances. So for example, we had I think it was a PD initiative where a lot of people joined the initiative, and then after that we saw a boost in our follower count. And then we've had other initiatives where we didn't have as much because we didn't have a particular thing going on, so we didn't have a competition going on. With regards to sort of advice I'd give to my successor, it'd be as mentioned, we're sort of transitioning into this more TikTok short form content, so that utilizing that a lot more. If things are more eye catching and more engaging and sort of on trend, it'll make it a lot easier for people to engage with the content. I would highly encourage as well for them to have one thing that we've tried to do as a RWG in general is have a good connection with you guys, because you're our like point of contact with your local associations. So to continue that and have that personal relationship with the CPs, so that it's easy for them to say, oh, we want to post this, or we want to like, can we have this, or we can repost. And I think through that, it'll make it a lot easier for IPSF Euro to grow, as well as local associations to also grow.
New comment from Abel, Portugal.
Margarida, PF Portugal. Congratulations on your work throughout the mandate, especially on LinkedIn. We believe it has great potential to strengthen partnerships and sponsorships, and you should be proud of this growth during your mandate. Given that, do you think that there would be a greater value in starting to produce the institutional video at the beginning of the mandate instead of more towards the end? Because it could support the promotion of IPSF Euro's work and vision throughout the whole mandate, especially when it comes to presenting the structure to potential sponsors.
Thank you so much for the question, Hassan, Region Media and Publications Officer. I agree with that point. I think having the institutional video posted towards the earlier part of the mandate would definitely be better. It's something that if I was to go back to the beginning of the mandate, I would have done myself. And it's definitely something that I'm going to hand over to my successor. I think the perfect opportunity to film it would be the first face-to-face meeting and have everybody film it then. I believe it's around November time, so it's quite early on, which will line really nicely with the partnership perspectives as well, so they can sort of be out at the same time. That's more of a discussion I'll have with my successor, whoever they may be, because again, it depends on their timeline as well. They might have certain things going on that prevents them from doing it, but we'll see. It's definitely a conversation I'm going to be having. So thank you.
New comment from BPSA, United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
Thank you. Polly, BPSA, United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Firstly, I wanted to compliment the work you've done this year, especially on the website. It's a really important tool, and streamlining it is very useful for all of us and our members. I wanted to question, as you've said that there's a complete restructuring happening with the website, has any thought been given to accessible design, to things like fonts and photo captions for visual impairment? Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Hassan, Regional Media and Publications Officer. It's not something it's not been at the forefront of the conversation, purely because we've had so many other things to consider. But it's definitely something worth considering. I don't know if I'll have the opportunity to do that in my mandate, but again, it might be something I pass on to my successor. The list is getting very long now. But it is worth considering, especially because we want to make it as accessible to other people as possible. It might be a bit difficult, again, just purely going off the fact that we're not like tech experts. If the next website coordinator happens to be a tech wizard, they might find it a lot easier, but it does purely depend on who takes a role up. And this year I have sort of given my team a lot of grace with the fact that knowing that this isn't their primary profession. Like my VCCs are not graphic designers, my QCC is not an editor, and my website coordinator doesn't build websites for a daily living. So using that, you kind of have to like give them a bit of leeway as well. But it is something to consider. So thank you.
New comment from the Šifas of Slovenia.
Thank you, Chair, for the floor. I'm Marko Savic from the Šifas from Slovenia. In your report, you have mentioned that the updates on the website from the last year have been made. However, the information about the MOs are still not up to date. Will this be your priority until the end of the mandate? Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Hassan, Regional Media and Publications Officer. Yes, this is something. So as mentioned, I do have a meeting scheduled with my website coordinator, hopefully for some time in the coming weeks, or if not early August, where that will be brought up, and that's one of the main priorities that we'll be trying to address. So thank you.
New comment from Napstar Serbia.
Thank you, Chair, for the floor. Milena Napser. Thank you for your work through this year. We would like to thank you for the opportunity to be part of the MO Showcase program and for giving us the platform to present our local association work in a video. The feedback from our coordinators from local association are great, and the students from our association are more involved in IPSF events. From now, we would like to ask you about advice. What would you give to your successor, and how would you increase the participations in this project? Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Hassan, Regional Media and Publications Officer. First and foremost, I'd like to thank NAPSA Serbia and IEFFUP Portugal for participating in the MO Showcase. It was a good way to actually see that the pilot worked. And again, going back to our analytics, we saw a lot of increase from Serbia after that was posted. So it goes to show that there was some potential in the idea. In the second CP meeting, I believe it was, I took some feedback from CPs, and a lot of valuable points were brought up. So some of them being that it wasn't in line with congresses, others was it wasn't a regular occurrence, so it sort of discouraged MOs from participating, and also like I think one feedback was we didn't make the videos this time, it was made by the associations. So that would be something I'd feedback to my my successor. Again, depends on their workload, depends on if it is feasible, but I'd aim. So this year I'm going to hopefully do it biannually. So maybe next year we do it 3 times, or if possible we do it quarterly. And then it gives an opportunity to slowly increase rather than do a huge jump and it become like overworking the next subco. As far as advice goes in terms of engagement, we can sort of trial a few different ways of doing the showcase. So it may be video format, it may be like a photo carousel, it might be like interviews, it might be a podcast series, whatever it may be. So it gives an opportunity to test a few different things across the next few mandates. And then when we find something that works, we can then stick to that and do that continuously. So thank you.
New comment from KPSV the Netherlands.
Thank you, Marlon, KMPC in the Netherlands. So let's see. Yeah, in your report, you get the target on tiny distribution of promotional material 70%. Whether that be because there are still initiatives to be shared. We were wondering if there are any practices you would recommend to your successor to make this percentage even higher, or yeah, like that. Yeah.
Thank you for the question, Hassan, Regional Media and Publications Officer. Just to reiterate, the 70% is mainly because we're 3/4 of the way through the mandate. And I put 70 instead of 75 because I have some ideas for Euros. So I wanted to also include that. When it comes to posting deadlines and stuff, one thing I've tried to do a lot is with my social media coordinators, we've tried to sort of see what times of day works best. And that's something I have like a little bit of data on, which might help the next RMPO. Another thing I'd mention is on Teams, I created like a task sheet. Teams, because it was new this year, it was a bit difficult to use. So I might suggest going with the traditional Google Sheet / Excel spreadsheet and stick to that for a couple of mandates while Teams is still being developed as the main platform. And then hopefully that will help make the organization side of things and the posting schedule side of things a lot easier. And lastly, one of our motions will be to introduce a new digital media production or media production coordinator, which will then free up the social media coordinator to solely focus on posting rather than posting, video editing, caption creation, and all these other things. And that should again ease the workload, making it more efficient. So thank you.
New comment from BPHD Germany. Dropped. New comment from BPSA United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
Thank you, Polly, BPSA, United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. You've had very many successful social media campaigns this year that have gained a lot of engagement. And you've mentioned that in your handover, you're going to pass over templates. Are you also planning to pass on tools that you found and used, and specifically anything that your subcommittees used in their role? Because from what you've said, their role has changed quite a lot and has required more specialist skills of them than you would expect of a student. Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Hassan, Regional Media and Publications Officer. Yeah, we've tried to use a few different tools or try to focus on a few different tools, Canva being the main one. We've used VM for video editing. I've been tampering with YouTube and OBS and stuff and a few other things in the background, which I'll definitely pass on to my successor. But one thing we as RWG was considering as well was subco handovers. So rather than me as an RMPO just teaching the next RMPO, but our subco also have a handover with the next subco, because unless you've been in the role, it's very difficult to sort of explain the role to somebody. And it makes it much easier when you're talking from a personal perspective about what worked, what didn't work, what to improve on. So that's one thing I'm going to suggest to my subco and sort of mention the tools I've used. Another thing that I've been sort of doing in the background is that every post that we've made, I've been collating on the drive so that the next RMPO has a reference point to what we did this year. And also just having the Canva link there. So if they need to make a copy and edit it, it's easier for them. And then lastly, as a MMP drop down to RWG level, we've been sort of discussing having like a regional branding book, which will make it a lot easier for there to be a consistency and like a real brand identity. I am much more of a I like to give creative freedom. So we've been experimenting a lot with different ideas this year. But it was, as an organization, it would definitely benefit if we have like a set branding. I just don't like to make things too bland. So I've tried to avoid that, but it's definitely something we should have. So it's in discussion, and hopefully we can create that before the next mandate starts. Thank you.
New comment from IPF Portugal.
Margarida, PF Portugal, thank you for the floor. First of all, I'm not really sure if you already answered this question indirectly, so please tell me if you did. But regarding TikTok, can you clarify what were the access issues that happened throughout the mandate? Are they fully solved? And if yes, how do you plan to use TikTok for the rest of the mandate? Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Hassan, Region Media and Publications Officer. So the issues with accessing TikTok was it's linked to the Google account, but not directly for some reason. So there's a password linked to it, but we didn't have the password because it was through the Google account. And it was like a loop of reset the password and then reset the account and then reset the password and reset the account. Managed to sort it out. So thankfully that worked. I was in contact with the previous RMPO. And again, it goes back to two-factor authentication, which I hate. It's really annoying. But as far as posting scheduling for the upcoming weeks, through Euros, I've got a few plans which we've already started doing. So hopefully over lunch times and in the break times, we'll be approaching you guys to just film some short form content. We've posted the HWRC, we posted the team recap, hopefully going to make like a Euros recap. And then when like the annual newsletter is out, we've got some plans on making like a little video for TikTok for that as well. So hopefully that I'll utilize TikTok in the last couple of months of the mandate, and then from next Monday onwards, it'll be a seamless transition into just continuously using TikTok moving forward. So
I see no new comments. Therefore, I close the floor for discussion. Now we will proceed to voting for the motion, which is the 15th European Regional Assembly accepts and adopts the annual report of Mr. Hasan Siyet, IPSF Euromedia and Publications Officer 2025-2026. All those who are against? All those who abstain? With 0 votes against, with 0 votes abstain, and 19 votes in favor, the motion is carried unanimously. Hassan, would you like to say something?
thank you so much, guys. Grilled me, so I'm a bit shaky now. No, I really appreciate this opportunity. Being part of IPSF has been such a big part of my life in the past 5-ish years, and this is sort of like me going into the professional scene now. So it was a really good way to sort of transition, and to have an opportunity at a leadership role is something that I'll be forever grateful for. And I've had the opportunity to work with some amazing people that have been by my side throughout the entire year. And it's been a long year, but it's also been a very short year. I wish it could have been longer, just so I could spend more time with them. And my subco as well. I have to give them a huge shout out, because genuinely this would not have been possible without them. They were amazing and so independent at times. I had a very busy period of months and I had a lot of personal things going on, but they took initiative and really just went for it. And I cannot thank them enough for that. And a lot of the posts that you saw, a lot of the creative ideas that you saw were all their ideas. So I take credit as RMPO, but I can't do it without them. So I take this opportunity to thank them as well. And thank you guys, because your engagement has really made this year amazing. And all the compliments that I get for the social media is only because of you guys and the content that you provide and the engagement that you give. So yeah, thank you so much.
Now we will move on to the next motion, which is the 15th European Regional Assembly accepts and adopts the annual report of Ms. Adeshubi Oye sorry, Ms. Adeshubi Oye Olademeji, IPSF Euro Regional Relations Officer 2025-2026. Now I give the floor to Ms. Adeshubi for her speech.
Thank you, Chair, for the floor. Hello, dear Regional Assembly. I am happy to be here to present my annual report as the Regional Relations Officer of this mandate. I will summarize my report and focus on the main points. So firstly, looking at my achievements. In the internal portfolio, it would be having the one-to-one CP and SEO meetings, the check-ins. It will also be creating CP Champions League with Miss Martina and making the guidelines and the processes, creating the collaborations list and the MO bios. And then for the external portfolio would be attending and supporting the creation of the new MOU with EPSA, creating a new list of sponsors for the region with my EACs, Craig and Varak, and updating the partnership perspective and researching grants sent by Azra, the chairperson of the Euro. Now for my goals, some of the KPIs were not at 100%, and because they were not completed or still ongoing, I'll focus on the main KPIs that were like newly introduced this mandate and also low in percentage. So for goal 1, in terms of individual members, it was at 10%, and that's because we actually sent out a lettuce meet and really got, actually we didn't get no responses, but we plan to follow up again and try and have that meeting with individual members. 50% for the regional alumni LinkedIn group. So we attempted to get feedback from the alumni, but there was little to no responses. And so we decided we're going to create it anyway, but we're looking at ways to do it because of LinkedIn limitations. However, Hassan has actually figured out how to do it. So we're looking to do that by the end of the mandate. Then for the bi-monthly check-ins and the drop-in sessions, there's still one to be done, and we're still continuing the mandate, so it's at 75%. And then for the goal 2, 60% I allocated to basically the partners feedback form, because feedback was given at the beginning of the mandate, but Craig, my external affairs coordinator, then sent another form and there wasn't really responses, which I understand. So it was difficulty getting feedback from CPs at the time, but we will try again for the next mandate. And then 10% for attending MMOs and external representation events where possible, yet to attend any, and that's because of schedule clashes and also because cost was taken into account. Obviously, we have a limited budget. 50% was allocated for the KPI to do with grants, because we were looking at them and we didn't meet the criteria for a lot of them, and there was a lot that needed more work that we didn't have in terms of times, but we currently looking to apply to the grants database before the end of the mandate for one of them. Then 50% to the KPI in terms of partners having access to Euros like newsletters and updates. Current partners do have access. They actually receive some of our newsletters, but in terms of the other like new partners, we do not have. So I put at 50%. For goal 3, I set the existing database for non-MOs as 50% because we created a new list, but it has to be added to the historical one. And I did 75 for the SEP KPI because only one MO showed interest, and it's yet to see if they would actually join SEPT because they're also doing Twinit. In terms of points to be completed, they are above, but the main ones would be obviously continuing the one-to-one meetings with the new CPs and SEOs, and completing the check-ins, and then follow up on any leads with external partners. We do have one lead that Azra already mentioned, which was Gladen. She got back to me, and now subsequently I've emailed her and to wait for their decision. And then establishing the alumni LinkedIn now that we know how to establish it, and then the awards will be fulfilled at Gala Night. For my handover, I plan to have 2 meetings. So one to focus on the internal portfolio and one to focus on the external portfolio as it's been done. All the feedback that was given during this mandate and also during these sessions will also be given to my successor. Some important points that I want to include is that I want to look at increasing the RO's subcommittee in terms of coordinator positions to help support with especially the external side, but also the fact that there's new responsibilities for taking over SEO like oversight. And then I wanted to also hand over to my successor to do a extensive review of the external situation alongside the chairperson of Euro and also the chairperson of external relations. And then before I finish, I'm not going to get emotional, but I would like to say a few thanks. Firstly, to everybody in the room, all the CPs, SEOs, and obviously the wider like IPSF team for all the support and guidance and trust. My subgroup for pulling through with me and supporting me through tough times because it was kind of difficult, but they pulled through with me and gave me their support this mandate, which I really, really appreciate. And lastly, not least, my RWG. Azra, Like, Hassan, Pavle, and Sophie. It's been a really wonderful Monday, and we've learned so much from each other and shared laughs and exciting times, not so exciting times. And I've been blessed to work alongside all of them. And honestly, I would love to see you in your future roles and continue our friendship. And I just want to say thank you to everybody again. And I look forward to seeing all your achievements. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Now I open the floor for discussion. New comment from Campus with the Netherlands.
Well, thank you, Marlon, KMPC in the Netherlands. So, first of all, congratulations on attracting 3 potential MOs this year together with the chairperson of Euro. So, we understood from the report that the organization from Greece sadly won't pursue membership this year. Do you think next year they can still be approached to apply for membership? And what kind of issues or things do potential MOs who do not pursue membership like give us feedback? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. So for the MOs, there was a lot of interest. We had a lot of meetings, me, Azra, the membership coordinator, and Saleh. A lot of them were moving forward with the applications. However, some had to drop out because of financial issues. A lot of them were newly established and wanted to register as NGOs or get some type of support, but unfortunately they weren't able to do it in time. So they have said that they are expressed their interest to apply next year, and hopefully we'll have them. So that's one. Financial issues is one. I think the second thing is also how to coordinate like the constitution and looking forward. I think when they were looking at IPSF and seeing our feedback, I think some of them may have felt they needed more work, so they decided not to apply to basically avoid being rejected by the GA. So I think that's why they took more time. So I think there's interest, definitely, and I think people want to join, but I think they want to work on themselves as an organization and also look at the finances before applying.
New comment from TPIC Turkey.
Thanks for the floor. It's Hatice from TPYC Turkey. Thank you, Shavi, for your comprehensive annual report and your work throughout the mandate. In your future consideration, you mentioned that the workout has significantly increased compared to previous mandates and suggested the increasing the number of coordinators in the regional relations subcommittees. Could you please elaborate on the main drivers behind this increase in workout? Thank you so much.
Thank you for your question. I would say that the first one with SEOs is because it was when during my handover, and as all ROs were probably told before, is that you would manage CPs, and basically anything in the internal portfolio as SEP is different. But then I was put in a group chat with other ROs and we had a meeting with Trey and were asked to have oversight over the regional SEOs. And unfortunately, we don't have that much oversight in the activities, especially to do with the SEP database and all the other activities that you guys do. So the motivation behind having it is so that you guys feel supported in the region. And so it's not just like, there's a lot of like SCPs focus. There's a lot of things that I wouldn't know about SEO jobs and I wouldn't be able to tell you. So I have to direct it to Trey or escalate to Trey. So the aim of that position is to help support SEOs in the region. So that to avoid going to global all the time for help, because I know there's a lot of SEOs in obviously our organization. So it's hard to get a response on time. In terms of the external part, it would be because obviously financials, as you can see, is inconsistent and sponsorship is inconsistent. So increasing the portfolio on the external side is going to help support and kind of mainstream the main responsibilities and tasks that we have so we can focus in like gathering. So it's not going to be like, oh, they're going to come into position and there's going to be like sponsorships, there's going to be internships. It's more of a gradual help and support. So this is one task that we have that's like listed in our annex to just help support the region and over time grow that foundation. And hopefully you'll have some big money in the bank. So that is basically like the motivation behind that one too. Thank you.
New comment from BPHD Germany.
Thank you for the floor. BPHD Germany Omid.
You've had to deal with ghosting from people who are associated with IPSF, which is awful. We were thinking, isn't it time to perhaps do an investigation about how to boost accountability? What do you think about that? What are your insights about that? Thank you.
I'm just going to clarify. You mean in terms of partners or in? Oh yes, basically everybody. So yeah, the ghosting. I guess with individual members, they do live like maybe busy lives. As me, I'm a pharmacist. I mean, I receive my emails. I try to look at my emails every day anyway. But I think we've been contacting them through them emails because we don't have any access to numbers. For some of the members, I don't know. The list is quite extensive, but some of them don't even have emails. So probably we were trying to look on LinkedIn for some of them. Again, that's difficult because there's multiple people with the same name sometimes. So in terms of your question, I think maybe having like a meeting with the internal chairperson to discuss how, because I think they face those difficulties in global as well. The same with alumni as well, is the exact same thing. We tried to organize a meeting with them, the same thing happened. So I think we have to first put in that step. So when people, before they become alumni or individual members, maybe just to remind them about regional engagement and maybe like encourage them before they become alumni or individual members to try and obviously discuss with us and like getting more involved, maybe like get their numbers as well. So we can make their own like group chats that we can go and direct to. In terms of partners, I would say you can all you can do is follow up, follow up, follow up. And like Azra said in her reports, that going to like in-person meetings is more important because you meet them face to face and you're able to remind them and show them what IPSF is, who we are, what we do. And so that'll get them more interested. And by that time your email comes through or your LinkedIn message comes through, they will see you and recognize you from that event. So I think that's really important. In terms of CPs and SEOs, a lot of you have been great. There's been a few that I've had to call. Yes, I've called because I remember in the last regional assembly, it was suggested to call CPs who were not responding. So some of you might have got annoyed by me calling you, but I did just leave like a bleep so you guys could look at my message later. So I think in terms of CPs and SEOs, honestly, it's encouragement. I think it's hard because you get into this position, I might not know a lot about IPSF. So it's important to maybe say to your predecessor, before you become obviously a CP, that, oh, like, to just encourage them to say, oh, there's going to be times where somebody's going to be reaching out to you. Can you please respond? I think that's all we can do. But otherwise, I think the next RO will just have to keep doing what I did, basically, and pulling through.
New comment from the Shifts of Slovenia.
Hi, and thank you, Chair, for the floor. I'm Marko from the FSF Slovenia, and thank you for your work and your help and for being so approachable. What do you feel is the biggest challenge when approaching new sponsors? And besides them not replying and not providing any feedback, do they give an explanation why do they decide not to sponsor? And do you feel that there is a way that your these colleagues or CPs have a way of helping you of ensuring new sponsors? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. So in terms of sponsors, I could just give you from like the few examples that, because a lot of them have ghosted and not really responded, but the ones that have said things like they have organizational restructures. So they're going through a different route in the organization. So they're not trying to focus on sponsorships. They're trying to focus on developing the professional world. So they want to employ more qualified pharmacists. Of course, we go to them saying that we do have like qualified individuals in our association as well. But it's hard for them to obviously see that because we've come across as a student organization, but also the fact that we want to also encourage them to work with the students as well is quite important. So I think that's like one reason is that scope. Also the fact that we're international. A lot of companies that I've reached out to have been either based in the UK or surrounding areas. And the same with my external affairs coordinators. They're saying, how can we work with something that is international when we're just a small region? So it's quite difficult to them to understand the scope of practice that we're going to have. And then in terms of like CPs, SEOs, and team helping, I think if you see any opportunity that you think would be good for an international scale, it's like just easy to drop us a message or like email. But I know that's difficult because it's not something that you usually come across. And that's why I think a point was raised during Azra's report as well about obviously RWG, where we can go and attend in-person events there. And the same goes out if anybody's like CPs or SEOs, like obviously see something and they go to an event and they see something that would be good for us. It would be nice for us to receive that feedback and obviously pursue that opportunity.
New comment from Anne France.
Chloé and France, thank you for the floor. Congratulations on your mandate. It was truly amazing to work with you. About the grant database, I don't really understand what you're looking to do with the grant database that you mentioned in the point 7 of the goal 2. What do you want out of it? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. So just to clarify, the grant database is just something that we have as options or like viable options of grants that we have that we can apply to in the region. There's not a lot of them, as you can imagine. So it's just to continue that database and also to add to it. I think every Monday we try to add like a list of grants that could be available for us that maybe that year it wasn't possible, but the next year. In terms of what my comment was about, to do with the grants is that currently the grant that I was looking at had like an application process to be on the actual database of the website. So the European Youth Foundation, you have to apply to their database before you apply to any grants. So that's what my point was regarding that. I have to apply to it first, and it's a long process as well, and also the grant application. But this year, there's a lot of other things that we need to get access to apply to that before we do it.
New comment from Campus Free the Netherlands.
Thank you, Lucinda, Campus Free the Netherlands. You mentioned as one of the key improvements to update the defined protocols, such as reaching out to non-active CPs and MOs. Do you already have any specific suggestions for updating these protocols in general? Thank you.
So yes, thank you for your question. In terms of the protocols, I think it would be like having a good template of emails. I think, yes, from previous mandates, my predecessor already had like a template already that I adopted and changed a bit when I was sending emails. But I personally prefer to contact them directly. In terms of protocols, I would say is that if the CP, I think it's already in our official documents that obviously if like a CP or an SEO is not contactable or reachable, you have to escalate it to either their counterparts and their president, which we did. I think to add to it, I think I would add escalating it to the internal chairperson. So because obviously they're I'll say the final line of defense before I'll be like, there's no other opportunity, which this happened this mandate. So I had to escalate something to Sally because I wasn't getting any responses. So he also tried and we couldn't get any responses from this MO. So I would say I would add that as a point that it needs to be escalated to global so that there could be escalation there for EXCO to see and investigate if the MO is actually active or not.
New comment from IFU Portugal.
Sara Coroado, IFU Portugal. Thank you for the floor. First of all, I want to congratulate you on your mandate and the excellent work you did. So I want to ask you, because one of your KPIs was to try to hold at least one meeting with individual members of IPSF Euro, but this was only assessed at 10%. Beyond like the lack of responses, do you think that there are other factors limiting this engagement? And do you have any ideas of how this could be improved during the next mandate? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. So I think, yeah, lack of responses is obviously one thing. We do promote a lot of events as well. And I think you see that like in some emails, especially in global, that they include all the email groups, individual members are included. Other ways to actually increase the engagement of individual members, I think I said like before, like trying to reach them before the membership ends, like their organizational membership, and trying getting in there to see, and maybe having a meeting with them before they actually enter that stage. Because I think we do a lot in terms of like promotion, emails, obviously word by mouth. Because I know this year Martina has also reached out to some individual members like that she knows in her MO, but it's quite hard to still get a response. So I think meeting them before they even become an individual member might be a good step. But I know that could be hard to obviously track because there's a lot of people, there's a lot of CPs, there's a lot of members everywhere. So maybe they can, even a database about it could be like a good way. I think this year for alumni, maybe individual membership we will also do is that we asked like certain CPs and SEOs that were leaving their mandate if they would want to join. And let me be honest, I just added people's name anyway when they were leaving. I was just assuming they might become alumni or individual members. So we have like a list of names already that we want to obviously reach out to or give to my successor to reach out to.
New comment from the Shifts of Slovenia.
Pia, the Shifts of Slovenia, thank you for the floor and congrats on your mandate. Could you maybe elaborate on the collaboration between the RRO Euro chairperson and the chairperson of external relations on in obtaining sponsorships, and if you have any recommendations for the next mandate?
Thank you for your question. So we had a group chat with myself, Azra, and also Julian, who's our chairperson of external relations. And he would send opportunities that were tailored to our region into that group chat as well. Or he would just highlight to us anything that we could attend in terms of external representations. So I think that was quite good to have him there. And he was also a good advice point in terms of like how to target certain sponsors, looking at the global side and like maybe implementing some of their practices, which we did, which is mainly LinkedIn, which is the best way you connect with somebody, you send them a message. I think in the next mandate, I would think that this practice would be best to continue to have that solid communication and obviously having those meetings as well, because we did have meetings more to regards to the MOU, but in those meetings as well, we discussed the external situation of Euro. So it was really good to have those like advice, like those meetings to have a get advice and like maybe solving some of the problems that we had. So I think that should be continued. Another thing that we could do as well is obviously together with him is just analyze, well, not him, but maybe the next external relations chairperson to analyze obviously the situation. Because I think I mentioned that as my handover that the next RO should continue at the beginning of the mandate to actually look at the external situation and what to do.
New comment from Nobsa Norway. Dropped. New comment from BPSA United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
Thank you. Polly, BPSA United Kingdom of Great Britain, Northern Ireland. Firstly, congratulations on an amazing mandate. We've all been really lucky to have you in this position. So my question is relating to your handover. So I really love the fact that you've said you're going to have 2 handover meetings, one related to internal and one related to external, and that matches your subcommittee really well. So are the members of your subcommittee going to play a role within these handover meetings? And I was also going to ask if in these handover meetings, there is going to be information on this kind of new addition to your role on SEOs, and whether there's going to be advice from how you could best utilize subcommittee on those, and expanding any of the existing programs you have for CPs on including SEOs like monthly reminder systems. Thank you.
Yeah. So Polly, sorry, I need you to repeat the last bit of your question again because it was a bit quiet.
So to summarize, it's mostly about the role of the subcommittee in the handover, specifically, the role they're going to play in your current role, and also in how your successor can better understand how SEOs fit into their role, potentially in terms of expanding some of the existing programs you already do for CPs to include SEOs like the monthly reminders. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. So yes, in terms of like obviously what we're planning to do, handovers, I think yes, my subcommittee will be a part of the handover process. I think mostly because the emails are obviously reused, the drive is always accessible to the new successors. So the new, so basically the people in the new position, the new coordinators. I think in terms of my successor, I would definitely recommend obviously having a meeting with the chairperson of SEP, and maybe like having a proper sit down to say like look at what exactly would be needed in terms of supporting SEOs, especially in the region, and encouragement. A point that was always been brought up, I think by Marlon, was that we should do a collaboration project for SEOs as well, and having somebody in our coordinator, like in the subcommittee that's focused on student exchange officers will help with that, because then it will be able to easily more plan it, because this year has been obviously the internal part of the portfolio is already very heavy. So to add that on was going to be difficult, but I would have loved to done a regional SEO criteria. I would have loved to do like a collaboration project. So having that additional person to support that would be great. And also they will learn more about SEP as well. So there will be a coverage that instead of reaching out to global, it would be also reaching out to that coordinator instead. So I think definitely having that meeting with the chairperson of SEP will be important, and the SEP team.
Technical.
Lika, IPSF Euro Secretary. So since our meeting secretaries and scrutineers are also regular delegates, they need to attend their next workshop. So I would like to ask RWG to take over minuting for now, if that's fine, or like Pavle. Thank you. And Brian, could you step in real quick? The other scrutineers are also on their way, but yeah. And then for the scrutineers and meeting secretaries, there is coffee in the back there, right, Sophie? I think. Yeah, so you feel free to grab coffee and a snack here, so you don't have to go all the way back. Yes, thank you.
New comment. New comment from APF Portugal.
Margarida PF Portugal. First of all, we would like to congratulate you on your accessibility throughout the mandate. I know it was mentioned before, but I'd like to say it again. And even though you have multiple meetings and CPs and SEOs to keep up with, I feel like you always make the meetings and interactions feel very tailored to our needs and very personalized, which is a huge challenge. So congratulations on that. We'd also like to ask you if you could elaborate on the LinkedIn limitations you encountered while trying to establish the regional alumni network you mentioned, and if you have considered using an alternative platform that might better work for that. Do you need me to repeat? Okay. I asked if you could elaborate on the LinkedIn limitations that you found while trying to build the alumni network, and if you have maybe considered using another platform since you encountered limitations.
Thank you for your question. Yes, the limitation was that because our profile is technically not an organizational profile, so all the businesses, organizations, they have a special way of making groups, but we had a limitation with that. Oh, wait.
Technical.
I'll start again. So thank you for your question. So the LinkedIn had a limitation because at first when I was discussing with Hassan, it had a limitation because we don't have an organization profile or business profile, and they have a special ability to make those kind of groups. But Hassan has now figured out how to make it, and so we're hoping to add obviously alumni to that group. In terms of like other platforms to use, I think LinkedIn is probably best because a lot of alumni obviously are professionals or working professionals. So I think it's very easy for them to network and connect, especially with students as well on LinkedIn, because it's what they use on a regular basis. I think maybe like WhatsApp would have been good, but again, we don't have a lot of their numbers, especially the newer ones. Well, I think maybe the newer ones, the list is being updated still. And I think at Global, they were trying to find a way to get a lot of their contacts because some of them just had names, no emails, no numbers or no like contacts at all. So I think that is maybe a way, but I wouldn't say it was feasible because again, we have a long alumni list. So I think LinkedIn is best, and just to add them into the group or send them an invitation because it's just easy to just accept if you're interested, and they'll know IPSF anyway. Most of them will have in their bio or in their like work experience. So I think that would be the best way. Thank you.
New comment from Anne France, drop. New comment from Campus with the Netherlands.
Thank you. Lucinda KMP's for the Netherlands. What are your findings regarding following up on and supporting inactive member organizations? What would you recommend your successor to do to keep MOs active in, for example, attending the CP meetings?
Thank you for your question. So this year, what I was lucky with is Likia made like an attendance list. So me and her would just look at the list and see who didn't attend, and I would follow up and ask those CPs, is there a reason why you didn't attend like the first CP meeting or the second CP meeting? A lot of times it was like they had work or they were sick or something else is going on. So I think my successor should definitely follow that practice of following up with them. What we did as well is bi-monthly check-ins, especially with people that obviously aren't as active and you may not see a lot of in the email chains or in terms of group activities or any initiatives. We did like bi-monthly check-ins, but then sometimes I would go back. If that person didn't respond to my initial message, I would go back 2 weeks later and send them another message. And then for the ones that were really, really inactive, as in they haven't responded to any messages, then escalated to Sally and just sent an email myself to follow up. And with one MO, we did have a meeting to discuss the reasons why with the president, myself, Azra, and Sally. So we wanted to discover the reason, and it was linked to their organization duties. They had a lot of focus restructuring and focuses that they wanted to shift. So that's why the CP wasn't as active. And yes, those are the things. So again, having meetings as well with the president of the organization and the CP to understand the reasons why would be good as well.
New comment from APEC Portugal.
Margarida Pef, Portugal. You mentioned that you are planning to hold meetings regarding potential memorandums of understanding with other organizations. Could you specify some of them and or what opportunities they could maybe bring to IPSF Euro in the future?
Thank you for your question. So we have some student organizations, as I mentioned them before as well, is IVSA, which is a Veterinarian Students Association. I think it's just a good collaboration because again, you may not see a lot of pharmacists and vets like interact a lot, but we do have some overlap in our roles. I mean, again, from my personal experience, it's more about screening their prescriptions inside my job. So I think something like that would be interesting just to explore the scope and have a more understanding of each other's roles. Another one was N-Diet, which is dietitians. I say as a clinical pharmacist, I do interact with a lot of dietitians in my hospital when it regards to medicine and feeds, like people on peg feeds. So that would be also an interesting thing to have an MOU with them and explore. Then we have some professional organizations like the PDA that Azra also mentioned. They've already invited us to their conference, which Pablo was our representative for. And I think it would be good because they have a lot of other organizations that come under them. Well, not come under them, but like attend their conferences. So we have more like visibility if we attend and work with them. They also provide grants, which again, in the initial meeting, we were more focusing on the scope of practice, but in the future, maybe that could be explored as we could be one of their recipients of their grants. So that would be good. Another one was the Employed Pharmacists of Europe. Well, actually, sorry, I said this wrong. PDA, they haven't invited us, sorry. They invited us for a future one, for the future chairperson of Euro. For the Employed Pharmacists of Europe, they invited Pavle to the conference in Croatia. Sorry, I got it mixed up. But they have both of them have invited us basically. So we're hoping to obviously go and represent IPSF there in their conferences again. Visibility is there. And obviously exploring more collaboration with the professional world is good for students in general and any early career professionals who are interested in like obviously having a PhD or just working in a different, maybe non-conventional part of pharmacy as well. So I think that's a good scope in terms of like internships and sponsorships. And there is one more, Gladen, which would be really nice, which I'm hoping that she comes back to me. But that could be also a good one for future as well, that I would like to hand over to my successor.
I see no new comments. Therefore, I close the floor for discussion. Now we will proceed to the voting for the motion, which is the 15th European Regional Assembly accepts and adopts the annual report of Ms. Adeshubimi Oye Oladimeji, IPSF Euro Regional Relations Officer 2025-26. All those who are against, all those who abstain, with 0 votes against, with 0 votes abstain, and 19 votes in favor, motion carried unanimously.
I just like to say thank you to all of you for listening and to my waffle. But I thank you for obviously all your questions as well and the support that you've shown me this mandate. I mean, obviously a lot of you I've interacted with in obviously meetings and obviously during our CP meetings as well. But I would just like to just thank you again for accepting my report and for giving me thanks for all the work I've done. And I want to thank my RWG again, just for obviously the support and involvement in my portfolio as well, and just supporting me through this year as one of the main working professionals in the group. But thank you all.
Now we will move on to closing of the standing orders. Do I have a proposer proposed by KMPSV the Netherlands? Do I have a seconder seconded by APF Portugal? And all those who are against? Motion carried unanimously. Now we will move on to the roll call.
Lieke, IPSF Euro Secretary, just for Virgil, because you're new scrutineer, I will announce all the MO names and you can go by the rows and pick up their cards, the voting cards. I will explain to you later in the break, but yeah. So please, scrutineers, take the voting cards of AFIP Austria, CPSA Croatia, CCPSA Czech Republic, FIPSA Finland, ANEP France, BPHD Germany, ASEP Switzerland, vote delegated to BPHD Germany, KNPSV the Netherlands, SOP Denmark, vote delegated to KNPSV the Netherlands, NOPSA Norway, SNAP Sweden, vote delegated to NOPSA. Can you guys please remain silent for the roll call? SNAP Sweden, vote delegated to NOPSA Norway, BPSA Poland, APF Portugal, FASFOR Romania, NAPSR Serbia, SPSA Slovakia, the SHUFSA Slovenia, TPAYC Turkey, and BPSA United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Thank you.
I close the second session. We will return on 15:15. Okay. Now we will start to the third session of the first day. We will start with the roll call.
Scrutineers, please get ready to give the voting cards to AFIP Austria, CPSA Croatia, CCPSA Czech Republic, FIPSA Finland, ANEP France, BPHD Germany, ASEP Switzerland, vote delegated to BPHD Germany, KNPSV the Netherlands, SOP Denmark, vote delegated to KNPSV the Netherlands, NOPSA Norway, SNAP Sweden, vote delegated to NOPSA Norway, PPSA Poland, APEF Portugal, FASFOR Romania, NAPSR Serbia, SPSA Slovakia, the SHUFSA Slovenia, FEF Spain, TPAYC Turkey, and BPSA United Kingdom. Sorry? Sorry. Okay, so FEF Spain. And lastly, BPSA United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Scrutineers, please count the votes and come to me separately. Thank you. Twenty full members present and voting. I will hand back the floor to Asra.
Now we will start with opening standing orders. Do I have a proposal proposed by KNPSV the Netherlands? Do I have a seconder seconded by FAS for Romania? Standing orders are now, sorry. All of those against, with 0 votes against and 19 votes in favor, motion carried unanimously. Now this, yeah. Now the standing orders are open. We will begin with the motion, which is, this is the 15th European Regional Assembly accepts and adopts the annual report of Mr. Pavle Staritsa, IPSF Euro Region Projects Officer 2025-2026. I give the floor to Mr. Pavle for his speech.
Okay. Thank you, Chair, for the floor. Pavle, Regional Projects Officer. So, dear Regional Assembly, it is my pleasure to present my annual report. So I assume that you have already read most of the points, so I will just focus on some highlights. So regarding my main achievements, I would like to mention the collaboration first. So collaboration with EPSA during the World Immunization Week. Then we established new partnership with the Mental Health Europe, where we prepared the podcast, and our collaboration with Planetary Health Alliance for the Green Pharmacy Week, which was a workshop. Then we also established a new pharmacy education initiative, which was the pharmacy education research event, during which we presented the pharmacy education opportunities and organized a panel discussion with PhD students across the Europe. I also want to mention about the Pharmacy Education Week, which was our most successful project, reaching over 120 participants. Finally, we collaborated with the global PD team for Pharma Olympics and organized all 5 PD competition, which served as a preliminary rounds for the of the Pharma Olympics. So we have our representatives from our region, and we also successfully delivered the leadership training series, which was the soft skills part of the PD. So moving to goals, regarding my first goal, I would like to explain the second KPI. So at some times we struggle to share promotional materials for social media campaigns on time, which was 7 days before. The reason is mainly due to the workload of the RMPO and RPO teams, but we kept to maintain at least 10 days for online events. However, to help member organizations stay informed, I also sent monthly project reminders with the description of the project so CP could mark important days and also understand the projects. So I work with the RRO on the sponsorship opportunities. Unfortunately, we haven't established any agreements yet. And I was also eager to provide mentorship to less active MOs and training related to specific portfolio, which I also shared during the first and the second CP meeting. But as I said, none of the MOs have reached out to me. That is the reason why the KPI is not that high. For the second goal, I would just say that for the PH initiatives, all of them were aligned with the WHO days and included collaboration with member organizations on social media campaigns. And also, I would like to highlight the excellent collaboration with the other regional projects officer. We also collaborated on AMR Week, and we will collaborate for the World Pharmacists Day. And three-piece chairs also, they supported us throughout the mandate. The TikTok initiatives remains ongoing because subcommittee had a significant workload during the mandate. So we plan to prepare the materials during the summer. And the third goal is mostly ongoing, and all remaining KPIs will be completed by the end of the mandate. Then you can see my external representation. Plans for handover, so 2 handover meetings, one about the project organization and planning, while the second one will be mainly focused on the global part and the communication with 3Ps. And to just conclude this, so the RPO as a role was a really challenging position because you have to manage multiple projects at the same time and also track all of the 3Ps, but I'm really firstly, I would like really to thank to my subcommittee that supported me throughout the whole mandate. And also, the thing that I'm maybe most proud of the mandate was the opportunity to work with my fellow RWG members. So I'm really grateful, and I couldn't imagine to have such amazing teammates as you. And I'm really glad that I can call you my friends. So thank you guys for everything, and thank you CPs for your support and the promotion of our projects. And I'm open for any questions. Thank you.
Now I open the floor for discussion. New comment from KPSV, the Netherlands.
Thank you. And Lucinda, KMPSV the Netherlands. First of all, thank you for all your work in your mandate. As the RPO portfolio is quite stacked with projects and other work, are there any specific areas that could be prioritized or deprioritized to better accommodate the team? Thank you.
Thank you for your questions. So with the RPO rule, definitely the thing that first has to be considered is the number of projects. So as Azra also mentioned, we should first focus more on the quality rather than quantity. And also what is important to, at the beginning of the mandate, let's say that huge projects should be marked in the projects with the potential sponsorship opportunities or even grants. But for grants, it is also harder to get it. But with the sponsorship ones, we should more focus on that type of projects, which can be a professional development event, but it will probably only one professional development event for the next mandate. I mean, online event. So definitely the potential of sponsorship. And I will also focus on the team weekend, because during the team weekend, that is in-person events. So we can attract not only sponsors, but partners and supporters from, in this case, from the Netherlands, because we organize it there. But yeah, the team weekend is also very important.
New comment from KPSV, the Netherlands.
Thank you, Marlon, KMPC Netherlands. So you mentioned that there was little response to your messages in group chats about offering support to new or less active MOs to initiate or sustain local IPSF projects within a PAD portfolio or PH. Besides posting in the group chats and mentioning it during the second CP meeting, did you follow up with CPs individually to explore why they were not engaging or whether they required any support? And would you recommend your successor to follow up individually to gain more responsiveness? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Regarding this KPI, so my idea was something ideal that is not supposed how the things are working, and that was that if I say that I'm open for communication, that people will reach out to me and say, "Oh, we don't know how to organize some project or promote the things, and can you help us?" And I will organize a meeting, and that is not the how the things are working. So I haven't reached out to the CPs individually, but because Shibi also conducted um, check-ins with the CPs. So my idea was when she wanted to provide actually the support on projects part or the 3Ps, that I also be there on that meeting so I can help her with that, which we can do until the end of the mandate. But the thing that I will definitely recommend to my successors to start working from the beginning of the mandate with RRO. And RRO can also share that during the one-on-one meetings that RPO can also be reached out to just to help them to understand better the 3Ps. And I think that also like check-ins regarding the projects at the beginning of the mandate or even like on the half of the mandate, it can help because RRO and RPO can contribute for the overall better knowledge of our members.
We have a direct comment from Campus with the Netherlands.
Well, thank you so much for these suggestions, and we fully agree with them. What might also be beneficial as a suggestion would be to get some support from the RRO through tracking what kind of activity reports are submitted. So you can also have a little bit of an overview of and identify MOs that could potentially do more so that you can actively pursue the ones which are less active or might require some extra support. So that could be good for the next mandate. Thank you.
We have a new comment from FSF Romania.
Thank you for the floor. Stefania, Fast for Romania. Looking back at your mandate, is there any project or idea that you wish you had more time to develop or implement, but couldn't due to time or the workload constraints?
Thank you for your question. So it was definitely the professional development project. So at the beginning of the mandate, the idea of the chairperson of professional development was to include all regional offices in developing on the Farm Olympics. And then I thought that we can organize all of the 5 PD competitions. But the thing that I would do different for the next mandate in the case that we will, or let's say, participate in that collaboration if it exists, I would probably set the dates later in the mandate because our first projects were in February and then we had a gap of the 3 months and then the second projects, which were the compounding event and industrial skills event. So in my opinion, we could put all of the projects in the May, and we could start working on the sponsorships earlier because in this situation we started maybe on March, which was 2 months before. And we actually have some potential, let's say, agreements, but at the end, nothing came out, because like pulmonary drug delivery was also supposed to be the topic for the team weekend, but at the end we didn't organize the workshop on the pulmonary drug delivery. So that was the reason why we postponed it to the other projects. So yeah, definitely the PD projects, because they should be planned really carefully at the beginning of the mandate, and to give at least 4 months to work on sponsors, partners, and opportunities for members, because in that case, we will attract more member organizations to participate in.
New comment from IF Portugal. Dropped. New comment from KPSV the Netherlands. Dropped. New comment from ANEF France.
Chloé France, again, congratulations for your mandate. You often talk about a lack of investment. Why not do more cross collaboration with EPSA? Don't you think it could reach a larger number of students? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. In regards general collaborations with other students' organizations, usually we reach out to them at the beginning of the mandate, and then we first have to see if our calendars aligned with each other. And usually if it happens, in that case, we plan to collaborate on one project, which was in this case with EPSA. It was the World Immunization Week, which I'm really glad of, because the World Immunization Week is, I think, the most important public health initiative to EPSA. And we actually organized a really great initiative, social media campaign that lasts for 1 week with a lot of reels and no, there were 2 reels and 1 story. Not 1 story, and multiple stories, yeah, but over 1 week. And I think that this type of initiatives are great, but usually it's only one project, just because of the internal plans of the member organizations. So the thing that I would recommend to my successor is to actually share our project calendar at the beginning of October, actually when the project calendar is developed, not only with EPSA, also with IFMSA and the other students associations, so we can actually see if our projects align earlier. Because in this case, I think that we started our collaboration in February or March, I think so, but it could be done like earlier, so yeah.
New comment from Nafsar Serbia.
Thank you, Chair, for the floor. Katerina Napster, Serbia. Pavle, congratulations on your mandate. We wanted to thank you for all your amazing work and efforts. Do you hear me? Okay. And your efforts. Our members are really happy that they had a chance to participate in all competitions and webinars that are organized. And also we talked to them, and I know that they value this experience. And we really think that it binded IPSF with our members. Our question was regarding a leadership training series organized. Can you give us your impressions of the project and evaluation? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. So the leadership training series was a part also of the professional development, but that is the other part, actually development of the soft skills. My PD coordinator was also a member of the training committee, and he is also a TDC graduate, which means that he is an IPSF trainer. So he we planned the soft skills training from the beginning of the mandate, but that was actually his idea to organize it and on the topic of the leadership and to be in the form of series. So we actually had 15 participants and they had to state their motivation for this event. So we provided 4 trainings that last for every training lasts for 1.5 hours. And actually participants said that they would like to have longer sessions of trainings. And I think that we have some participants here, so they can also give you a feedback of that event. And I'm also happy that for the 2 sessions we had IPSF alumni engaged in this session. So this was really a successful initiative, and it should be kept for the next mandate. But of course, the topic can be changed because the soft skills are really broad, so it can be everything.
New comment from dropped. New comment from APEC Portugal.
Margarida Pef, Portugal. Thank you for the floor. First of all, thank you so much for your mandates. Your work was truly amazing. We have a recommendation that we didn't leave before in the PD investigation form, but so we feel like it's important to share it now. And I'd also like to hear your views on it. We feel like maybe if the RPO would analyze the AMORs from the member organizations to identify their flagship initiatives, then maybe the RPO or anyone related to their portfolio could personally recommend to the CP involving PD initiatives in their already existing activities. And maybe it could improve the engagement from MOs. I'd like to see what you think of it, if you would increase a lot your workload during the mandate, if you would have done that.
Thank you for your comment and question. So it is true that the workload of the RPO is really high because we organize not only like multiple projects, but we also collaborate with the global 3Ps. But I actually like the idea of actually tracking the projects. So RRO can provide us activity reports from member organizations. So I know that some member organizations organize PD events, but this means that member organizations who don't actually organize the PD events, they can be identified. And in that case, I can reach out to them privately and ask if they want to implement it or to describe that portfolio, because it is really important one, because you are providing professional development opportunities for your member. And the core thing about the professional development portfolio is actually the skills that we will need after graduation. So that is the main difference on the pharmacy education. With pharmacy education, you provide education to your members right now. But with the professional development, it is important because you actually provide the opportunities for your member after the graduation. So for those MOs who are less active in the PD projects and less involved, it is actually important to present them. And it can be achieved if the next RPO collaborates with RRO and identify actually the activity reports and the MOs who are less active. So I really love that recommendation from both KNPSV and UPEF. Thank you.
New comment from BPSA, United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
Thank you. Polly, BPSA, United Kingdom of Great Britain, Northern Ireland. So it's lovely to see that you're, firstly, you've had an amazing campaign mandate. I've enjoyed every interaction with you, and everything I've seen from your work has been phenomenal. And it's really lovely to see in your report that your work with your subcommittee has gone really well, especially the bit where you are working actively to avoid burnout and overworking them. And it's really great to see that you've said it was going great. So I wanted to ask a little bit about what you found during your mandate, because your role is a really demanding one, and what you do is really demanding, what you've actually put into place to avoid overworking your subcommittee and burnout, and supporting them, and what you're going to pass on to your successor, basically, to help set them up for the same success you've had. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. So in a term of working with a subcommittee, it is actually a really important point, because usually people who are elected to be the subcom members, that is their like first IPSF involvement, they have great ideas, but it is their first experience with facing the different portfolios and also projects. So the most important thing is to, firstly, at the beginning of mandate, we should organize the meeting with them. And actually, firstly, I think that maybe during the first 2 months, they should actually feel a support from us. So sometimes during that first 2 months, RPO can put some of the works um, on him or her, because it is really important for the subcommittee members that not feel overwhelmed from the beginning of mandate. And then when you actually gain a trust from them, then you can work really great with all of them. And I actually try to communicate also privately with them, and also organize one-on-one meetings with them. So for sometimes there were periods of exams, or also some personal problems of some coordinator. And I firstly, of course, address them, but not not taking too much into the privacy of the coordinator. And they really appreciate it. So they actually, all of the coordinators sometimes reach out to me and asking if they have any different tasks, new tasks to work on. So I think that, like, and you also had an opportunity to read their reports. So I think that most of them were satisfied. So I will definitely advise my successor to have at least 4 meetings with them during the mandate, to actually also support intersectional collaboration between different portfolios, because it is also important for the team uh, team building, like, and the workflow of the portfolio, and also to have one-on-one meetings, to be open for communication. Of course, if there is an exam season or something, RPO should take some of the jobs on their own, because a subcommittee should not feel overwhelmed.
New comment from CPSA Croatia.
Thank you. Ivna, CPSA Croatia. Thank you, Pavle, for the great work during your mandate and heartfulness. We just wanted to ask about your KPI on gaining sponsors and supporters for projects. What were the obstacles you faced during this, and how can it be facilitated in the future?
Thank you for your question. So, firstly, to when we came to the sponsorship part, this is actually the issue, let's say issue or a problem that multiple of us are working on. So, firstly, RPO, RRO, and the chairperson of Euro. So we try to organize, and we organize the meetings with so RRO, RPO, chairperson, and external affair coordinators, where we go over the whole mandate and all projects, but external affair coordinators identify the potential sponsors, and we pick the most important ones. So main issue with gaining the sponsors in general is because our initiatives are online events. So if you want to gain a supporter for the event, it should be really communicated well in advance. When I say well in advance, I mean at least 4 to 5 months, in my opinion, because we saw that 2 months, even if we have the connection, for example, if she had the private connection, she would ask, but then people would just not respond, or they would ask us to provide speaker support, but at the end, not a sponsorship because it is an online event. So the advice that I would give to my successor and to next RWG is to firstly identify the project from the second part of the year that are and has most, let's say, significant chance to gain the sponsorship, to start working on the sponsors from the beginning, so October or November, because most of the companies set up their budgets in January, which means if we reach out to companies and they maybe include support to us, maybe we will have a better chances. But it is not like the individual work of RPO, it is really a collaborative work of RPO, RRO, and chairperson of Euro, and even chairperson of external, if the company is bigger, or yes.
Direct comment from CPSA Croatia.
Thank you, Ivna CPSA Croatia. Thank you for your answer. We just wanted to remind of a thing that was mentioned last year from KMPS with the Netherlands. They proposed creating a system of donations from alumni.
Yeah. Point of order. I think this is more related to the region relations portfolio. So, yeah. Yeah, I think Shubi can answer. So, Niv, comment from Shubi.
Thank you for your question. I'll answer on Abli's behalf. So basically, in Global, they actually introduced the Alumni Fund. So it's where people can donate to a regional office or a certain project. So since they've implemented that, I think there is no point of replicating their work. But it's something that was considered, but I don't think was done based off, obviously, there's already been done now.
New comment from BPHD Germany.
Thank you, Omid, BPHD Germany. Thank you, Pavle, also for your mandate. Or at least the PD portfolio had many interesting opportunities for our members to join. And we had a question about the promotion about that, because promoting on short notice or effectively can be a bit complicated. That's because of our internal structures. We're thinking about a direct line of communication between the PD portfolio and our members, perhaps like a WhatsApp community that we can then heavily promote as a CP. We want to have something like that as feasible for the future, perhaps. Thank you.
So thank you for your question. I'm aware that actually all of the MOs here, their internal initiatives and many projects that are happening during the whole year. And sometimes it is really hard to actually promote our initiatives, which is completely understandable. I think that firstly, the thing that RPO is doing, like in like multiple mandates since like some years ago till now, is sharing the project calendar at the beginning of the mandate. I think that for the next mandate, maybe let's say the projects of great importance could be marked just for CPs to know them at the beginning of October, because usually when we share our initiatives, it is impossible to share the promotional materials more than 10 or 14 days before the event, because we are working on at least 2 or 3 projects at the same time. And that is the reason why, for example, for the online events, which is, I think, the most important ones to be promoted, the problem is also providing a speaker. So everything should be done like earlier, but I can't know like the speakers. If my initiatives is happening in 2 months, I can't know the speakers 2 months in advance. Usually I can't. I can maybe 1 month, but 2 months it's not feasible. So the thing that I recommend, that in the case that MOs can't actually promote our projects on social media platforms or their own, they can send it to the groups. If it's a webinar, they can send the link into groups, because we usually share the link with all of the CPs, so doesn't matter who is registered for the event. So we always share the link, and it can be shared with the members. And also, I think that CPs should also speak with their friends, colleagues, so we could just spread initiatives in the case that it can be promoted during that month. But yes, we can definitely, I can recommend and I will to my successor, that they should mark the most important projects at the beginning, so CPs could be aware from the October what are the most important projects to be promoted throughout the mandate. Thank you.
New comment from 5th Spain.
Hi, Paula, FEF Spain. First of all, thank you for all your work done this year. You recommended for the next mandate to focus more in quality than in quantity. So our question is, which specific projects from this year would you recommend cutting off from the calendar for next year, and which should stay?
So thank you for your question. So yeah, so when I said that it should be focused more on quality than quantity, this means that the number of projects should be reduced, and this mandate has really huge amounts of projects. So the advice that I will give to my successor is to keep the maximum of 1 online event per month, because it is really not feasible to organize two events of the high quality in the same month that are online events. Because for the online events we need the speakers, we potentially need to organize a workshop, it should be a higher quality. So it always have to be combined with the social media campaigns. So for the social media campaigns, it is much easier to organize them, and they actually foster creativity, because we can engage all of the member organizations and to involve not only CPs but members. So I would definitely suggest to reduce the number of initiatives, but to keep at least 1 online initiative per month. Because if we don't have 1 per month, and for example do 2 months of social media campaigns, then maybe our members will lost the focus from our social medias. And so to just keep the same motivation of our members, it is important to have it like the same amount through the whole mandate. Yes.
I see no new comments. Therefore, I close the floor for discussion. Now we will proceed to voting for the motion which is this is the 15th European Regional Assembly accepts and adopts the annual report of Mr. Pavlis Staritsa, IPSF Euro Region Projects Officer 2025-26. All those who are against? All those who abstain? With 0 votes against and 0 votes abstain and 20 votes for, motion carried unanimously.
I can say something. Thank you for accepting my report. It actually means for all of us, it really means a lot. And also I would like really to extend my gratitude to all of you and to your promotion of our initiatives, because we saw the increasement in all of the projects except PDs, which I won't count right now. But still, for some of the projects, we really had an increasement of engagement and more than 100 participants, which I'm very proud of. And it wouldn't be possible without your support. So thank you for your support throughout the whole mandate. And yes, once again, to my fellow RWG, you're amazing guys. I really love you. And yeah, thank you. And I hope that I will continue my IPSF journey.
Now we will move on to the next motion, which is this the 15th European Regional Assembly accepts and adopts the annual report of Ms. Sophie Gangso, IPSF Chairperson of the 6th European Region Symposium 2026. Now I leave the floor to Ms. Sophie for her speech.
Thank you for the floor, Chair. I'm Sophie, the chairperson of the 6 IPSF Euros. First of all, to the boring stuff, there are some corrections I have to say about my report. Firstly, it's not clear enough about the cabin trip. The cabin trip was a team building trip for the RC to get to know each other better. As you probably know, the pharmacy schools in Norway are divided through all parts of Norway. So even though we've worked with this almost 2 years, some of them had never met. So that was very important. And I also did not attend all the face-to-face meetings, as I wrote in my report, because I had to prioritize the team building trip. And I also wrote the financial report of the 5th Euros and not the 6th Euros. So that's my corrections. And then for my report, you probably read it already, but our main achievements. We had a very diverse team, a very diverse RC, which I'm very, very proud of. Some of them had never even held a volunteer position before. Some of them started when they were in their first year of pharmacy school. So it has been a pleasure to lead my RC. Some of them had never even attended an IPSF event before. Actually, the main part of the RC. I'm sorry for getting emotional. For the different goals, I think for goal 1, we highlighted our communication skills within having a good information flow on social medias. The registration process speaks for itself. All the spots were taken by seconds. And we had a waiting list longer than we could imagine. And I also want to highlight the strength in collaboration with the other Nordic countries and how much that has meant to us. I don't think Norway, Denmark, Finland, and Sweden has been to an IPS event together for a very, very long time. So that is also something we've been very, very eager about. We were also delivered a strong educational program. This week is the National Vacation Week in Norway. So all the people that attend as lectures on the education program, they are on vacation, but they
come here voluntarily to be on the education program and lead it. So that's also to have the pharmacy community in Norway. That has been amazing as well. And also one of my goals, or our goals, was to show you our MO. And NOPSA Norway is pretty new to IPSF. And even though I know everyone say, oh, but you're Scandinavia is pretty diverse. So I think, since you all read my report, I hope you have, I will do my closing remarks. First, of course, to my regional working group. Well, we'll do a karaoke night, I promise you. I've already planned it. And for all the participants, we'll never sit here without you. And also for my RC. I remember when I was in South Korea at my first Congress, and the chairperson said, please be nice to my RC. They've worked night and day for this Congress. I didn't really understand what it meant back then, but I do now. My RC, always with a smile on their face, have been working night and day for this symposium. So if you meet them, please give them a smile and a compliment, because you don't know how much it means to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophie, for the speech. Now I open the floor for discussion. New comment from KMPSV, the Netherlands.
First, small bullshit. It's so awfully rude of you to make me cry. Okay, so to the real stuff. Marlon, KPC Netherlands here. On behalf of KPC Netherlands, we would to thank you so much for the organization and the hard work you put into the organization of this event. It is so very much appreciated, and we all see how much effort you all put into this, and the RC, the helping team, and you. It's all going very well. I hope you enjoy this moment as much as we would love you to do. Sorry. And you could be incredibly, immensely proud of yourself. So yeah, this sets a standard for hopefully coming events. Thank you.
Sophie, the chairperson of the 6 IPS Euros. Thank you so much.
A new comment from the Symposium Slovenia.
Pia, the show is Slovenia. Thank you for the floor. I would also like to congratulate you and actually thank you personally, because this is my first IPSF event and really it has not disappointed me at the least. So I'm actually really happy I attended it, but I do have a question. You were very successful with the financial sponsorships. So I would just like to ask if you have like any recommendations or maybe advice for any future organizations organizing the event. Thank you.
Sophie, the chairperson of the 6 IPSF Euros. Thank you for your question. We were very lucky because there is a grant in Norway, which is doing very well, like financially, that we can apply for money for student pharmacy, like events that promote pharmaceutical education. So we had to show them a very strong educational program, and then they granted us 20,000 euros, I think it was. So that was half of it, approximately. And then after that, it was small amounts here and there from companies. And I know that different MOs or reception committees works with this differently. We didn't do sponsor packages. We said, we really need money, small amount, big amount, whatever. What can we do for you that will make this a fair deal? So for somebody, they wanted a lot of promotion on social media. Somebody didn't really care about that. They just wanted to have a good feeling about giving money. Some of them wanted to be present here. Some of them wanted to send people from their company to Gala Night. Of course, they're young and students as well. So we had to just work around, but it was a lot of work and it was a lot of communication. We took the bid very seriously. We already started working back then to get sponsors and say, we don't know if this will go through, but we know that if it has to have a strong financial plan if it will get through. So that was how we did it. Thank you.
New comment from Anne France, dropped. New comment from TPIC Turkey, dropped. New comment from Nopsa Norway.
Veronica, Nupsa Norway, thank you so much for the floor. We want to start off by thanking you for hosting this amazing symposium. It's been really good so far, and we're very excited for what you've planned this week. And we also want to know, if you were to give one advice to your successor, what would it be? Thank you.
Sophie, the chairperson of the 6 IPSF Euros. My one advice would be to never procrastinate. Always do everything as fast as you can, because we worked with this for 1.5 years, 2 years, if you count with the bid. And everything that is done, and you can put it behind you. But if you always go around, worry about something, and you think, oh, I will do it next week, it's still 1 year, it's still 6 months. It will be there, and it will affect your mental health. So I think what I did as a chairperson for the committee, I always checked in with everybody individually with Google Forms. How are you doing? When are your exams periods? When are you not going to be able to work that much with your tasks? How can I support you? And for instance, our educational coordinator has been working with the educational program alone, but I have been her support person. So we've been calling each other every day for several hours. The vice chairperson has been the social events coordinators person to talk to as well. So communication is the key, and especially when we are separated all over Norway. So I think that's what I would say, like make a very strategic plan and stay to it, and don't think, oh, but it's still 7 months or it's still 8 months. Everything that it's fixed and planned, then you can move on. Thank you.
I see no new comments. Therefore, I close the floor for discussion. Now we will proceed to the voting for the motion, which is this: the 15th European Regional Assembly accepts and adopts the annual report of Ms. Sophie Gangso, IPSF Chairperson of the 6th European Region Symposium 2026. All those who are against, all those who abstain, with 0 votes against, with 0 votes abstain, and 20 votes for, motion carried unanimously.
Thank you for the floor. I think I said everything I said. Thank you for this, and thank you for the experience. I hope this will be an amazing week for everybody. Thank you.
since we still have 15 minutes, we would like to continue with the next motion, if that's okay with the, okay. Okay, then we will move on to the next motion, which is this is the 15th European Regional Assembly. Accepts and adopts the report of following IPSF Euro 2025-26 subcommittee members: Ms. Hiva İltemiz, Regional Assistant; Mr. Adrilim Pei, Policy Assistant; Mr. Hasan Almadavi, Social Media Coordinator; Ms. Joy Van Quality Control Coordinator; Ms. Selim Can Tonak, Website Coordinator; Ms. Valentina Bogati, Visual Content Coordinator; Ms. Melike Danacı, Visual Content Coordinator; Ms. Beatrice Diaz, Visual Content Coordinator; Ms. Martina Orloş, Internal Affairs Coordinator; Mr. Burak Sarı, External Affairs Coordinator; Mr. Craig Jr. Nia Kenny Dip, External Affairs Coordinator; Ms. Sabah Rahimi, Public Health Coordinator; Mr. Jovan Milasoyevich, Professional Development Coordinator; Ms. Zeynep Tomam, Pharmacy Education Coordinator; and Ms. Berfin Ergen, Project Assistant. Now I open the floor for discussion. I see no new comments. Therefore, I close the floor for discussion. Now we will proceed to voting for the motion, which is the 15th European Regional Assembly accepts and adopts the reports of following IPSF Euro 2025-26 subcommittee members: Ms. Hiva İltemiz, Regional Assistant; Ms. Adrilim Pei, Policy Assistant; Mr. Hasan Almadevi, Social Media Coordinator; Ms. Joy Van Quality Control Coordinator; Ms. Selim Can Tonak, Website Coordinator; Ms. Valentina Bogati, Visual Content Coordinator; Ms. Melike Danacı, Visual Content Coordinator; Ms. Beatrice Diaz, Visual Content Coordinator; Ms. Martina Orloş, Internal Affairs Coordinator; Mr. Burak Sarı, External Affairs Coordinator; Mr. Craig Jr. Nia Kenny Dip, External Affairs Coordinator; Ms. Sabah Rahimi, Public Health Coordinator; Mr. Jovan Milasayevich, Professional Development Coordinator; Ms. Zeynep Toma, Pharmacy Education Coordinator; and Ms. Berfin Ergen, Project Assistant. All those who are against? All those who abstain? With 0 votes against, with 0 votes abstain, and 20 votes for, motion carried unanimously. Now we will proceed to the next motion, which is this is the 15th European Regional Assembly accepts and adopts the annual member organization reports of AFUP Spain, AFUP Portugal, AFEP Austria, ANEF France, APEF Portugal, ASEP Switzerland, APSUG Turkey, BPHSA Bulgaria, BPHC Germany, CPSA Croatia, CZPSA Czech Republic, DSHFSA Slovenia, EMUP Cyprus, FASFA Romania, FEF Spain, FIPSA Finland, HUPSA Hungary, IPSA Ireland, UPSA in Turkey, KMPSV the Netherlands, NAPSAR Serbia, NOPSA Norway, PPSA Poland, SAF Bosnia and Herzegovina, SOP Denmark, CPSA Slovakia, TPIC Turkey, and TUPSA Estonia. I open the floor for discussion. I see no new comments. Therefore, I close the floor for discussion. Now we will proceed to the voting for the motion, which is the 15th European Regional Assembly accepts and adopts the annual member organization report of AFUP Spain, AFUP Portugal, AFEP Austria, ANEF France, APEF Portugal, ASEP Switzerland, APSUG Turkey, BPHSA Bulgaria, BPHC Germany, CPSA Croatia, CZPSA Czech Republic, DSHFSA Slovenia, EMUP Cyprus, FASFA Romania, FEF Spain, FIPSA Finland, HUPSA Hungary, IPSA Ireland, IPSA in Turkey, KMPSV the Netherlands, NAPSAR Serbia, NOPSA Norway, PPSA Poland, SAF Bosnia and Herzegovina, SOP Denmark, CPSA Slovakia, TPIC Turkey, and TUPSA Estonia. Technical from NOPSA Norway.
Veronica and UPSA Norway. Shouldn't SNAP Sweden be there as well? Or
Yeah. We have another options for the. We have another motion for the late submissions. These are the reports that are submitted on time. And I close the floor for discussion, therefore we cannot take any new comments. Now we will proceed to the voting. All those who abstain, all those who are against, all those who abstain. With 0 votes against, 0 votes abstain, 20 votes for, motion carried unanimously. Okay, can you go to the next motion? We will now to the next motion, which is the 15 European Regional Assembly approves the late submission of annual member organization report of BPSA United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, MPSA Malta, SNAP Sweden, NEUPSANG Cyprus, Pharmagram Italy, and SVD Lithuania. I open the floor for discussion. You can point of order from Motions Committee.
Tiasha, Motions Committee, you need to delete the parliamentary, yeah.
Now I open the floor for discussion. Technical from FEF Spain.
Paula, FEF Spain. I don't know if it's like a problem, but the IFUV from Spain was in the last motion, but it's here it says. Wait, no, it's okay. Sorry.
Okay. New comment from KMP Sweden, Netherlands.
Thank you for the floor. Marlon, KMPC Netherlands. So did any of the these associations let you guys know why they submitted late? Thank you.
Yeah, direct from Ms. Lieke van Meegen.
Thank you, Chair, for the floor. Lieke, IPSF Euro Secretary. So for BPSA, they were like 4 minutes late, but I have to be consistent and count it as late submission. SNAP Sweden had a technical problem because they thought they submitted, but they only submitted the Google document, not the PDF. So they submitted the day after the deadline. And I think for the other ones, I will ask Shubi to respond.
Thank you for the floor. In terms of MPSA Malta, they had a handover with the new CP, but she hadn't actually updated her details, so there was no way of contacting her. But the previous CP did let me know that she told her about the task, so I just followed up after I got her contacts, and she did submit the form later. Let me see who's next. NUPSANG Cyprus, again, I think the president kind of got confused because he's also the CP. So then he said he would submit it. He basically submitted after the deadline as well. Then Pharmagram Italy, apparently they're going through a lot of structural changes that's been going for like a few months now. So the CPs had like difficulty with managing CP workload, so they were trying to find a new CP. So he let me know later that he would submit it, and then he did eventually submit it. FSD Lithuania, again, I think he's been quite sick recently in this recent year and not really available and busy. So I just followed up with him multiple times, and he did end up submitting it. So that is all the explanation I can give.
I see no new comments. Therefore, I close the floor for discussion. Now we will proceed to the voting for the motion, which is the 15th European Regional Assembly approves the late submission of the annual member organization report of BPSA United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, MPSA Malta, SNAP Sweden, NEUPSANG Cyprus, Pharmagram Italy, and SVD Lithuania. All those who are against, all those who abstain. With 0 votes against and 0 votes abstain and 20 votes for, motion carried unanimously. The next motion is Next motion, which is the 15th European Regional Assembly accepts and adopts the annual member organization report of BPSA United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, MPSA Malta, SNAP Sweden, NUBSANG Cyprus, Pharmagram Italy, and SVD Lithuania. I open the floor for discussion. As point of information, the previous motion was to accept the late submission. Now this motion is to accept their reports. I see no new comments. Therefore, I close the floor for discussion. We will proceed to the voting for the motion, which is the 15th European Regional Assembly accepts and adopts the annual member organization report of BPSA United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, MPSA Malta, SNAP Sweden, NUBSANG Cyprus, Pharmagram Italy, and SVD Lithuania. All those who are against? All those who abstain? With 0 votes against, 0 votes abstain, 20 votes for, motion carried unanimously. Now we will proceed with the next motion, which is the 15 procedural drops.
No, not drop, but you could finish.
Okay. This is the 15th European Regional Assembly accepts and adopts the annual member organization report of SAFPOM Bosnia and Herzegovina, UPSA Ukraine, and IP Poland. Now I open the floor for discussion. Procedural motion by KPSV the Netherlands.
Thank you. Marlon KPC in the Netherlands. We would like to propose some procedural motion to vote on the motion in parts. We would like to discuss UPSA Ukraine separately from YP Poland and SAFPOM. Thank you.
Do I have a seconder? Seconded by NAPSAR Serbia. I open the floor for discussion for the procedural motion. I see no new comments, therefore we will proceed with the voting. All those who are against? With 0 votes against and 20 votes for, motion carried unanimously. Now we will amend the motion to split it. This is the 15th European Regional Assembly accepts and adopts the annual member organization report of SAFPOM Bosnia and Herzegovina and IP Poland. I open the floor for discussion. Yeah. Point of information from Ms. Shubi.
Thank you for the floor. In regard to SAFPOM, since the beginning of the mandate, I've been trying to reach them, and it's been very difficult. And I escalated to Saleh, who eventually sent them an email as well, to officially ask them what is the reason, what's going on. I have sent them emails as well. I contacted the CP from like 2 mandates ago, who's still on our database, Petra, but she eventually left the contact, left the group chat that we had. So I just presumed that there was not, I don't know what was going on with SAFPOM. I've also asked SAF if they know anything. They said they don't know either what was going on with them. So I can't really give you guys any more information from what I know. All that we've done is reached out to them. And then with YP Poland, they're actually the MO that we had a meeting with to discuss about why the CP wasn't active in IPSF. The CP, previously they would have a CP and an SEO, but that mandate they didn't. So the CP had to do both tasks, which he found quite difficult. So he first expressed this to me, and then also expressed to Student Exchange Office chairperson that, oh, it was quite difficult. So they said you can cut out STEP for now. Then we had another meeting because there was still no activity. And that's where they expressed to us that they were restructuring their focus and that potentially they would think about leaving IPSF, which we told them that you would have to reapply if you ever wanted to join again. So we told them to keep in contact with us and we did follow up. And then the new board got elected. So the previous CP informed me that the new board had decided to leave IPSF, which they should be sending a resignation letter to the section soon. And this was followed by Martina because that's her classmate. So she is organizing for him to send that email. So that's all I can offer here as well. And to clarify, the reports have not been submitted.
New comment dropped. I see no new comments. Therefore, we will proceed with the voting. A clarification from KMPSV Netherlands. What? No clarification. Yeah, clarification.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you. Marlon KMPC in the Netherlands. We would just like to consult with the motions committee. As last year, we rejected the SEFPAM report as well. And if this one would be rejected as well, what would be the consequence for them? Thank you.
New comment from motions committee. Here.
Tiasha, the Shifasa committee. So per article 12.6, motions committee, member organizations whose annual reports are not approved for 2 consecutive years shall, on automatic recommendation from the regional working group, be proposed to the chairperson of internal relations for possible removal from the federation.
Point of information from Ms. Shubi.
Should be regional relations officer. So another thing is that they haven't paid their membership fees. That's just another thing to add.
Okay. I see no new comments. Therefore, I close the floor for discussion. Now we will proceed to voting for the motion which is the 15th European Regional Assembly accepts and adopts the annual member organization report of SAFPAM Bosnia and Herzegovina and IP Poland. All those who are against, please raise them high in the sky. No, wait. You. Yeah. First one. Wait. But they should tell them. Okay. Okay. All. Okay. All those who are against, all those who abstain, sorry. All those who are in favor. With 0 votes abstained, 20 votes against and 0 votes for, motion rejected unanimously. Sorry. Now we will proceed with the next motion. Okay, we can then. This is the 15th European Regional Assembly accepts and adopts the annual member organization report of UPSA Ukraine. I open the floor for discussion. I see no new comments. Therefore, I close the floor for discussion. Now we will proceed to voting for the motion, which is this is the 15th European Regional Assembly accepts and adopts the annual member organization report of UPSA Ukraine. All those who are against, all those who abstain, with 0 votes against, 0 votes abstain, 20 votes for, motion carried unanimously. Okay, now we will proceed with the suspended standing orders. So I have a proposer proposed by APF Portugal. Do I have a seconder? Second by Campaign Sweden Netherlands. I open the floor for discussion. I see no new comments. Therefore, I close the floor for discussion. All those who are against, with 0 votes against, 20 votes for, motion carried unanimously. Now we will proceed with the roll call.
Scrutineers, please get ready to collect the voting cards of AFAP Austria, CPSA Croatia, CCPSA Czech Republic, FIPSA Finland, ANEP France, BPHD Germany, ASIP Switzerland, vote delegated to BPHD Germany, KNPSV the Netherlands, SOP Denmark, vote delegated to KNPSV the Netherlands, NOPSA Norway, SNAP Sweden, vote delegated to NOPSA Norway, PPSA Poland, APF Portugal, FASFOR Romania, NEPSR Serbia, SPSA Slovakia, the SHFS Slovenia, FEF Spain, TPAYC Turkey, and BPSA United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
Now I close the third session of the first day. Before everyone leaves, we need